I am here with Drea Rewal, one of our success stories, a veteran who just landed a job, and we are just so excited for her. And I wanted to have her come on today because I've been doing this for 7 years now, and every now and then we come across a veteran who I feel just like is nailing it and doing all the right things. And Dre is an example of that. And I feel it's just so important for her to share her story and what she's doing. She might not even realize she's doing this stuff, but from a recruiter standpoint, to deal with someone like Dre is super, she made it super easy. She made it very easy for our client to hire her. So anyway, I wanted to just say thank you for coming on, Dre.
Thank you, Jordy. That is so sweet of you to say. Thank you so much. I have nothing but absolutely wonderful things to say about my experience with you as well.
That's great. That's good to hear. So, all right. So, one of the things that I liked about you is, I reached out to you. We headhunted you because we had a client who you had the skills and requirements that matched up with what they were looking for. We reached out to you. You got back to me right away. Talk about that. Why did you respond right away?
It's interesting that you say that because when I talk about my experience with you in Seven Eagle Group, I actually talk about your outreach specifically because, a lot of recruiters out there kind of send template messages, right? Just, hey, Drea Rewal, we loved what we saw, and it's just so like vague and so non-specific to me. And yours, like I could tell, like you dived into, you mentioned some of my work experience, you mentioned specific things on my profile and resume, and that immediately caught my eye. And I was just like, oh, this is real. Like, they actually read what I had to offer and what I had to say. And that made such a difference. So, immediately I was like, okay, this is somebody who actually took the time to at least learn a little bit about me,
Right.
enough to correspond that with, like you were saying, the qualifications for this job that I ended up getting. And so, that was just, again, it caught my eye and made me kind of go, okay, I need to reach out, and I need to dive in a little bit more. And then,
Yeah.
the rest was history there. But yeah, it was really your outreach, and
Yeah.
yeah,
But
the fact that you really actually read what I had.
well, thank you. But no, but you did respond like within 24
It
hours.
was quick,
And when
yeah.
somebody responds quickly to a recruiter, the lesson here is it tells me or that you care and you're interested. And I'm always people just nature. We're always going to focus on the people who are interested in us. So that was the first check mark when you did. Next, we got on
Awesome.
the phone, and all of a sudden you started telling me about the research you did on me and my
I did.
company and new stuff. And I was like, wow. Now talk about that. Why did you do that research?
Well, it was important for me. Like I said, we get recruit, I'm sure everybody else in the job hunt market also gets recruiters constantly reaching out. But again, with yours specifically being so personal with your initial outreach to me, I wanted to learn more. I'd never heard of Seven Eagle Group at that point. No, it's kind of like, okay, what is this? Who is this? It's like, as much as you get to learn about me, like I don't know a whole lot about you in a general standpoint from any recruiter, right? So I was like, okay, I'm meeting with Jordy. I was meeting with you that day. It's like, I need to know who I'm talking to.
Right.
Who is this? Like, are they cool? Are they, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what's happening? So
But why that was so powerful, again, from my standpoint, is we got on the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's already knows about me, my company, about this opportunity. You took the
your
time to
family, yeah.
my family. Oh, buddies. So I was like, wow, she cares. And again, I'm going to gravitate to people who make
Oh,
that extra. And it requires no skill level on your end to do that stuff. And you did it. It's just like, hey, let me spend 5, 10, 15 minutes doing this research. It makes a huge impact. So that
that's
was another
good.
big check mark for you. Next one, when we spoke, I think we did a Zoom.
Yeah, we did a
Again,
call
as you
first, and then yeah, we
a
spoke on the
call
phone, and
first,
then
then
we
we
moved into Zoom. Yeah, immediately
jump
after,
on.
pretty much.
And right, just from the call, I could tell from the tone of your voice, your enthusiasm, your excitement. Again, requires zero skill level, but you did that stuff that all it just makes me want to talk to somebody like you know? And again, I know that is a talent that you have that other people could do too, but as a
Oh,
recruiter, so many times we talk to candidates and I'm like, hey, Jim, how you doing? Hey, what is this? What is this about? What do you want? Like, hey, you interested in a new job? Yeah, yeah. What do you got? And it's like this painful conversation. And we're always, as a recruiter, we're always evaluating everything you're doing. And tell me a little bit about, like, why do you take that approach when you talk to people? I'm sure you're like that with everyone you talk to, but why is that so important to you to have that upbeat personality?
so by nature, I'm a hard extrovert. I'm sure that's not. I'm sure that's no
Yeah.
surprise to anybody. But one of the things that I learned just through my previous job experiences was the recruiter, the potential employer, whomever I speak with is going to either like what they see and what they're going to get or not, right? So for me, like I like to think of myself as a fairly confident person, and I feel like I do have a lot to offer for the right employer, so it's one of those things where it's like I'm confident in my abilities, and as long as I can, really portray that and say, hey, this is what I can give to you, what can we do to roll with that and expand and grow. So it's really kind of a confidence thing because I just feel like anybody that I'm going to talk to, again, I don't need to put on a facade because that's not what they're going to get in my day to day work life, personal
Right.
life, whatever. So, yeah, for me, it's really showing them like, this is what you're dealing with,
Right.
like
Just being
I'm,
yourself, right? Not
yeah,
getting
like,
nervous, not getting caught. You're right.
yeah, I don't get nervous. I
Yeah.
love people. I love, so for me, and I understand the nerves because, I think everybody to some degree does get them. But for me, it's more of an excitement because I'm
Right.
like, cool, I'm making a new connection. Like, what can I get out of this, and what can they get out of it from me? And so I just kind of love that, kind of collaborative experience, even in interviews, because
Right.
you do learn a lot even just from that process alone, whether it's like, oh, I could have done that differently, or, oh, I feel like I did that really well, or, hey, I asked some really good questions and got some really good whatever. It's really a confidence thing for me. I just feel like they ought to know what they're really dealing with.
Yeah.
Because as much as I'd like to think pretty professional, I'm also a little sassy, and I've got that going for me. So they might as well know that because they're gonna have to
But
deal with it.
what no, but what's so powerful about what you're saying is, I mean, from the day I met you to the day you got the job offer, which was yesterday, I don't know what that was, 5 days or something.
Yeah,
This is
less
like,
than a week.
because the impact you had on me, you had on the same impact on the client, and the owner of the business, and their team. And it just shows it is not hard to get a job today, but doing these little things that you've mentioned here that you did so superbly has such an impact, and it's so powerful. Where, I mean, you are also incredibly talented and skilled, which we're going to get into next. But that the other stuff, all these other traits that you have that you brought to your job search were so incredibly impactful, I think, and that's why you got hired so quickly. Some people, some veterans we deal with, the interview process stretches on for months and months with these clients where they say, "Oh, we want to have her come in for a second interview, a third, a fourth," and
Right.
that's because they're uncertain. They're like, "Can I work with this person each day? Can I envision myself being with her every day and what she's going to be like on the job?" And you got all those questions, you eliminated all those questions for them, which was incredible. So now talk about, you have an incredible background too. If I get this right, you know how to fly, you fly planes, you
Do.
know how to
Yeah.
fix planes, you had an incredible military experience. Talk a little bit, tell everyone a little bit about your background.
I'm an aviator at heart. I mean, golly, and I owe that to my parents 100%. I was super fortunate growing up. I got to travel a lot as a kid, which developed a love for flying because we flew a lot. And then all of a sudden, here's, 7, 8-year-old Dre talking to my dad about flaps on a plane, and he's like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah,
how do
yeah,
you
they're
know
in the
this?
cockpit.
And so, my parents, again, I owe it all to them. When I was 15, they gifted me flight. So on my 15th birthday, I was gifted flight. So then I just started flying. When I was 17, I enlisted in the military because I graduated high school early. So I was able to kind of roll really quickly into, diving into that. So I enlisted when I was 17 and served for 7 years, and then spontaneously moved to Tennessee, where I kind of began like a civilian workforce type thing. So it was kind of, interesting finding my niche. I worked in pet health and nutrition for quite a few years. And then now I'm working in a whole different field that I, know the slightest about because I did my research, but have a lot to learn. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, I went from aviation to pet health to it's kind of, so
That's
I like it. It always offers a new, challenge and opportunity. And it's really cool how you can kind of connect with people just
yeah,
outside of work, and I mean, even when you and I talked, we talked about our pets and
right.
I met your pet, you met my pet. So it's
Yeah.
cool being able to connect with people from different, realms just through, different work
Yeah.
experiences. It's really fun.
Well, Drea, I cannot wait to see where your career is going to head. You are off to the races, and it is going to be so exciting to watch somebody like you as go throughout your career and where you're going to be. I know you are going to change the world for the better, and I can't wait to watch. So I thank you so much for
Well,
what you
thank
did for our
you.
country, for all the kind words you said about us, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. And I do want to add one last thing because I think it's important for people to know, as you and I discussed, like I wasn't desperate for a job. I wasn't on that hungry search for it. Like you kind of literally fell into my lap, when you outreached. And I need you to know, because I was actually talking with my mom about this, and I let her know the good news about accepting this job offer. Um, this entire process was the first interview I've had since the interview for my last job. So
Yeah.
it was a first and last. And like what an awesome experience to have that. And to have your guidance and mentorship throughout that was amazing. So I mean, Jordy, thank you for everything. Because I so appreciate it beyond words.